Hey guys, thank you so much today for joining us on the webinar. I know we've been giving you a lot of awesome information on the Epson F2100 and the iColor 550. Now we're going to be showing you step-by-step finished product A to Z. We're going to make some shirts right now. You guys ready? Let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do before we any steps, we're going to give our garment a quick pre-press. From packaging or storage, your t-shirt could have some wrinkles in there. So doing the pre-press kind of irons everything out, and it also lays the fibers down nice and flat so we get a good solid print. We've already got our heat press queued up to temperature. We're pressing everything at about 350. I'm just going to go ahead and lay this on the lower platen. Put this inside, and honestly, just a couple seconds. Just going to iron out all the wrinkles, get it nice and smooth, and then we should be getting ready to do the pre-treat. Now that we have our t-shirt nice and smoothed out from our pre-press, we're going to go ahead and load this into the pre-treat machine. We're going to designate how fast we want the spray to be, and if it's going to be a single or round trip application. We're going to go ahead and close the pre-treat machine here and go ahead and hit the start button. Beautiful, guys. Now we have an evenly coated pre-treated shirt. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to get this dried so we can go and start some printing. Now that we've pre-treated our t-shirt, we need to dry it. This is wet. So we're going to go ahead and load this onto our heat press. Again, doing everything at about 350. Before I close the machine, I'm going to lay down this protective cover. This is going to protect my heating element from any sort of wet pre-treat, wet ink, keep it nice and clean. Go ahead and load this in. We're going to give this about 30 seconds to dry the pre-treat in our cotton shirt, and then we're ready to print. All right, everyone. Now that we've got our pre-treated shirt nice and dry, we're ready to load it onto the F2100 and get a great print. I'm going to go ahead and thread the garment onto the platen, try and find a nice center point. Men's design, typically 2, maybe 3 fingers from the neckline, depending on the size. Get this nice and centered for good placement. Now we're going to load the hoop. This is going to be what keeps the garment in place as it's fed back into the machine and forward. Lay down that white ink and then the color on top, and I think we're ready to get started. I'm going to send the job now. Today we're printing with the NeoRip software by Cathari. Great way to really unlock the true potential of these direct-to-garment printers. And for all American customers who get equipment like the Epson direct-to-garment, we'll give you a free 2-week trial so you can see firsthand the quality of your print and the ink savings. All right, you guys, we are almost done. We got our print out of the Epson F2100, but the ink is still wet or active. So what we're going to do next is take this over to our heat press, and we're going to cure the design onto the garment. Now again, we want to make sure that we protect our heating element from any sort of wet pre-treat, ink. Keep it nice and clean for the next job. So I'm going to be laying down this protective cover sheet just flatly over the design. Bring this on in. Let's get this shirt cured, guys. We are almost done. All right, everyone. Our 1-minute timer is just about to wrap up in the heat press. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at our final cured design. After this much time in the machine, customers should be able to enjoy 50, 60 washes, no problem. You do want to exercise caution when removing items from the heat press, working with temperatures above 300 degrees, but that is it. And we are done. This is retail ready, and those are all the steps that we've shown you, taking a blank, untreated shirt into an awesome final print. All right, everyone, we took you start to finish with the Epson direct-to-garment. Now we're gonna be printing the same design on the iColor UniNet 550. First thing we're gonna be doing is getting the image onto our A sheet. You wanna make sure you load this the correct way. The print side should always be facing up. If you're not sure which side is the print side, you'll notice that you're able to actually sort of scratch a little bit of that coating off of the page. On the non-print side, you'll find that a scratch does nothing to the surface. So once again, if you're able to kind of scratch off some of this step A sheet, then you're facing the right side up. We're going to go ahead and load it just like that. All right, so now we've got our paper loaded with the print side facing up. We're going to go ahead and send the job to the 550. Get our step A transfer printed, and then we're going to take you guys over to the heat press. We're going to marry that to the B sheet, which is the adhesive. Let's get started. Now that we've successfully printed our image onto our A sheet, it's time to marry it to the B sheet. This is going to be the adhesive that bonds to the printed toner so that we can apply it onto our fabric, hard surfaces, what have you. You want to make sure that we're transferring not to the gridded side, but to the clean blank side. This is the adhesive. So I'm just going to try and make sure I got nice, even coverage. We're going to go ahead and place this face down in the machine. I'm going to fold one corner up slightly so I have a nice access point to start the peel once they're married. And then to protect my heating element, before I close the machine, I'm going to lay down a sheet of parchment paper just over the top. We're going to be marrying these two pages together at 310 degrees for 120 seconds. We're going to go ahead and drop this down now and get these married. All right, everyone, our 2-minute timer is just about to wrap up marrying the printed A sheet to the adhesive B sheet. Now, before we separate them, UniNet's going to want us to, with a rag or a spare t-shirt, just kind of smooth out and flatten any kind of bubbles, just kind of go over the whole print area. You do want to be very careful, it's going to be a little hot. And now we're going to go ahead and use our folded corner to low and against the grain, just kind of peel this in a smooth, controlled motion, not up to the ceiling. And I'm already seeing all the adhesive I wanted has completely left the B sheet. And now we have a bonded A sheet that has the adhesive only to where the toner is. Now we're ready to put this on a shirt. Now before we actually apply the transfer to the t-shirt, we always like to give the garment a quick pre-press. It's a great habit to get into. Pre-press is just gonna give us a nice smooth surface, iron out any wrinkles that could be in the garment from packaging or storage. Again, we're not transferring right here. We're just gonna go ahead and give it a quick moment in there, lay those fibers down so we have a nice clean transfer area. That should be plenty. We're gonna go ahead and bring this out. Now, one pro tip with these transfers, you do wanna kind of take a look before you apply. There may be traces of stray adhesive that is bonded that will transfer to your garment. So you don't want that. So using a pair of scissors, I just like to kind of go around, make sure that there is no adhesive. I only want to print my image. So we're going down here, see a little bit more by the fold. Now that we have all the stray adhesive trimmed from our transfer, we're going to go ahead and position this on the t-shirt. And then before I close the heat press, we're going to use that parchment paper again so we don't get any of our transfer material on the heating elements. For this press, we're going to be doing 310 degrees for 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and send the job. Transfer this shirt. All right, our 30-second timer is just about to wrap up. Now, when the machine is done transferring the image onto the garment, it's not time to peel yet. What this is going to be is a cold peel. So you want to set this off to the side, maybe to continue production, keep your flow going. You'd like to let the shirt return back to room temperature just so we get a nice even transfer, give a long wash life for the customer. So we're gonna wait for this to get back to room temperature and show you the final product. All right, everyone. We let the temperature drop back to about normal room degrees. Let's go ahead and not peel this up to the ceiling. Again, we're gonna go low and against the shirt itself. To start here in a corner, just kind of go in a nice, smooth, diagonal fashion here. Now look at that. If you guys can tell on camera, there is a little bit of a gloss or an overly shiny appearance. Not, in my opinion, retail ready yet. So the last step we're gonna do is we're gonna take this back to the heat press. We're gonna cover it with just a sheet of craft paper. This is gonna give us more of a matte or flat or retail ready, in my opinion. We're gonna go ahead and put this down. For this press, it's only gonna be 20 seconds, so almost done, guys. Let's finish this up. All right, guys, our 20-second timer is just about finished. Super quick final press. We're gonna go ahead and bring this out and give us the big reveal. As always, exercise caution. We are dealing with temperatures north of 300 degrees. Things are gonna be hot. But now, since we did our final finishing press with that craft paper, we now have a nice, matte, retail-ready product that we can sell. There we have it, guys. 2 awesome prints, 2 awesome print processes. No real wrong answer here. I feel it's really gonna come down to where you are in your business life cycle, funding availability, things like that. But for more information on getting started, what's involved, how to get the ball rolling, you will have the opportunity to connect with one of our representatives at the end of the presentation. We're gonna throw it over to Q&A in just a moment, but I do wanna thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. Really hope you learned something about what's involved in all the processes here. Make sure you stick around until the end of the webinar. We will be monitoring who is here at the finish to get you entered into the chance to win our grand prize drawing. But once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Let's take a look at these bad boys. Right here we have the iColor 550. This is printed with the standard A to B process. And this one here is going to be the Epson direct to garment on the F2100. I do feel there is a correlation between the cost of the equipment and the quality of the final output, but I do feel there's a great answer for everybody here. I love how these came out.